Hi, good morning. My name is Lisa Dublin, and I've got a question for you. If someone were to ask you right now, where does your confidence come from? What would you respond? Wherever you're listening to me from, welcome to Basement Chronicles Live. We're talking about the question, where does confidence really come from this morning? How would you answer that question? Perhaps you might point to your experience. Perhaps you might point to the fact that, okay, my mother always told me I was good. Perhaps you might point to all the things that you have done, all of the accomplishments that you have, you have under your belt. Where does your confidence come from? Perhaps, maybe, if you're really true to yourself, you might say to the person who's asking, it depends. And that's what we want to talk about this morning. Where does confidence come from? For the rest of the week, I hope you join me at this time, 6 a.m. MST, 8 a.m. EST, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Today and tomorrow in particular, we are going to be delving into this concept of confidence. Where does it come from? How do I get more of it? What if I don't have the experience? Can I still be confident? All of the things. I've got statistics for you. It's a question I've been thinking about because when I look at my career as a life coach and as a speaker and as a writer, especially in the coaching, empowering women, professional women to speak, to live, and to lead with confidence, I often have to ask the question, where does confidence come from? How does a client move from I don't know if I can to being able to do great things? So, yesterday I posted about one of my clients. Her name is Clarita, and she has a business called CME Accounting LLC. Go check it out. And this was just an example of somebody moving from, yes, I've got my goals. Yes, I know what I want to do. And of course, she was doing stuff already. But this coaching process just simply took her from good to great to be able to go out on her own and to do great things, to take the initiative to do what she could not do before. One of her biggest wins thus far was that she, held her first webinar. And of course, it was a baptism by fire because anytime you are doing something for the first time, it's going to be difficult. I remember the first time that I went live on Facebook in 2020. I had just gone outside for a long run, and I just simply popped up on the screen. I just like, okay, I really felt led to do a live at that time. And of course, I was nervous. I was tentative. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to say. I had a little message about radical obedience brings radical results. But I mean, overall, it was not comfortable. Fast forward 4 years later, and here I am, very comfortable in this space and teaching people in some of my programs, Speak with Confidence. And if I work one on one with clients, teaching them to have that confidence, to go out and to do big things, including speaking, that kind of thing. But let's start with the question that I asked. Where does your confidence come from? One of the first sources of confidence, obviously, is in your competence, isn't it? In an area where you have succeeded, where you have experience, where perhaps you have been trained and you have skills, you can be confident. So, did I say good morning? Did I say hello to everybody? Hi, wherever you're watching me from. YouTube, Instagram, good morning. LinkedIn, good morning. Facebook, a special welcome to the Watch Radio family. That's like my only Facebook link right now. So if I'm no longer on Facebook on my account, Lisa Dublin, but if you want to catch me there, it would be on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning at this time on Watch Radio. So thank you, Peter, and the team for allowing me this platform. It really is amazing. I've made some wonderful friends. So let's talk about competence. So when you are a master at something or you have a certain level of competence in it, it's easy for you to do it. It's easy perhaps for you to teach it and talk about it and to stand up and be counted in that space, isn't it? Think about where you have been trained. Perhaps if you're listening to me now, you are that professional and who has perhaps done a lot in a certain area of life. That is where you are qualified. That is where you have experience. And when you come to speak about it, You are coming from that lived experience of having done the thing. It's easy for you to speak about. That is one sense, one area or one source of confidence, isn't it? And we should not discount it. And so if you are that person who's like, I don't have confidence, I'm not sure that you've taken like a wholesome look at your life or a 360 look at your life. Every single person has areas of expertise. I mean, even a 5-year-old can say, I have expertise in building blocks or reading like ABC books, right? You have areas of competence, and that should be a source of confidence for you to speak about, to talk, to speak about, to go out into the world and to be like, I did this, I was able to successfully pass these exams, take these qualifications. I've been trained in that field for a long time, to 1 year, 2 years, 6 months even. You have more experience than somebody who has no experience in the field. One of the things I tell clients and people who I train and speak to, where confidence is concerned, even if you don't know everything in a field, you know something. And the way the business world kind of thinks about it is like this: if I am at a 3 level of competence in a field, does that mean I need to sit down and keep quiet and never speak? No, absolutely not. So obviously, the higher level of expertise you have and competence in a certain field, in your area of expertise, the higher level of competence is the more people you can speak to. If you are at a competence level of 5, you can speak to everyone who's at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and perhaps even the 5s, because your perspective, it might be better received for people who are on your level. That's like millionaires attending other millionaires masterminds, not because they don't know how to make a milli, but because there are certain things that they understand and they would accept from somebody who's on the same level as they are. What is my point? If you are at a 5, you can speak to the 0s to 4s. If you are at a 4, you might not be able to speak to those people who are more qualified than you, but you sure can speak to the 0s, the people who are at a 0 level of competence in what you want to speak about or do. You can teach them a thing or two. The 1s, the 2s, the 3s, and even the 4s. If you are at a level of 3, it doesn't mean that you have no right to open your mouth and speak or to teach somebody. It just depends on who your audience is and who it is you're going to be teaching, who the student is. If you are at a level 3 competence in any field, you sure can find people who are at a 0 level of competence, 1 level, 2 level, and you can teach them. And so I think what we need to understand is that competence is relative. And you can take confidence in that fact, because it means there's always work to do. There's always an audience for your level of expertise. I think where we run into problems is trying to speak to people with more expertise and trying to front it. You know how they say fake it until you make it? No, fake it until somebody who knows better than you calls you out. Yeah. You do not want that, do you? Hey, Jasmara, good morning to you. No, people say fake it until you make it. No, you're going to fake it until somebody who knows better than you calls you out. So you better set your parameters and know who you're speaking to. It doesn't mean that you don't speak with confidence. It doesn't mean that you don't show up knowing that, hey, I can do this, I can do that, I can't do this other thing. So I think that is where this is the first point, that confidence comes from competence. And the point that I wanted to break down was there are several levels of competence, and you should take confidence in that fact. I want to give you a statistic today. Hi, good morning, Jasmara. Saying hi to my Instagram family this morning. Okay, here's a statistic from the University of Calgary. The University of Calgary found that individuals with higher education or specialized training report a 40% higher confidence level in workplace performance than those who do not have specialized skills. So if you're listening here today and you're like, I just simply have experience, I don't have any formal education, it doesn't mean that it's a formal education. As much as possible, if you are competent at something, you have to take confidence in that. And so I think if you want to get more confident where competence is concerned, you absolutely have to invest in training, invest in coaching, invest in improving your skills so that when the tire hits the road, as they say, and your competence is tested, you can confidently execute because you know your stuff. So that's important. Confidence comes from competence. And even if you are not at a 5 in your level of competence, you can still speak to those who have no competence in that field, who have no expertise. If you are the 3, as I said, you can speak to the zeros, the ones, the twos, and that's fine. And you can do that confidently. Let's move right along. I hope you are listening this morning. Please say hi wherever you are watching from: LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube as well. Welcome to the YouTube family. All right, here's another place that confidence comes from. And unfortunately, I think we also need to speak about the reverse of this point. Are you ready? Confidence comes from your relationships, from having supportive relationships. You know, one of the sources of my confidence is that my mother always said to me, "You can do it." Like she'd say it forcefully, and you can do it. She didn't care who I was, what our last name was, how much money we had or didn't have. My mother said, "You can do it." And I still hear it in the back. I still hear it in my ear. "No, you can do it." No. No, I mean, she never said that competence and my confidence had to come from staying in my 238 square miles. No, no, you can do it. And it is the way she said it with such conviction. I still believe it. And guess what? That's exactly what I say to my sons right now. "No, you can do this." Oh, absolutely you can. Okay? Now, if you have that kind of supportive network, it works. It comes from friends who are willing to say, "Yes, you can do it. I believe in you." I hope you are blessed with those kinds of friends and people around you who know your ability. They're not sycophants and they're not just buttering you up, but they are the ones perhaps who know you best and will support you in your journey and encourage you from a place of knowing who you are. That's what you want. You want to have people around you who are not just, "Yes, yes, yes, you can do this." No, but they know who you are. They've lived with you, they've journeyed in life with you. And so they have a very accurate assessment of your skills and abilities. Trust them. So you want to have that. Okay. Now, on that note, recently, I think on the weekend, from my country, St. Lucia, I saw some posts about a young man who returned to St. Lucia as a pilot. He was driving, hear me, he was driving. He was flying an American Airlines. He was the main pilot on an American Airlines flight. And it was his maiden voyage to his home country, St. Lucia. I was reading some of his posts. And one of the things he said was, he remembered the time when he got people saying to him, "If you are the one flying this plane, I am not going to be on that plane." Right? This is the opposite of having people supporting you. But you can also make it work in your favor, can't you? So this young man, in spite of having people around him being naysayers, frankly, "Oh, if you are the one flying the plane, I'm not." Well, like, where is that coming from? Why would you say that? Some people are just very negative. We know that. Some people are very myopic. Myopic means short sighted. And on that note, sometimes they are short sighted, not just because they're jealous or they don't want good for you, but it's because in their own lives, they have no vision. In their own lives, they show up as incompetent, lacking confidence. And so there's nothing that they can give you by way of confidence. They are simply regurgitating and imitating what they themselves say to themselves. So you cannot afford to take those comments, criticisms, and labels to heart, because people are just simply acting from what they know and what they practice, even for themselves. I think that what we need to know is, they say, surround yourself with people who are going places, surround yourself with a supportive yet critical community. As I said, not just people who just say it and say, yes, you can do it, and just be your cheerleader, but people will be like, what are you doing? Like knowing you, either this is you or this isn't, that they have an objective and an accurate assessment of your skills and can advise you accordingly. I think also, even within that mix of having people around you who support you or not as a source of confidence, here is something else that we can consider. You can have somebody who's on your side, but is still short sighted because they have no experience in the thing that you want to do. For example, if you are an entrepreneur, you are striking out on your own and you are excited, you are entering business, you can bet your life that if you come from a family and a support network of people who have only worked a 9 to 5, they have no imagination for what you're going to do. What do you think they're going to tell you before you begin the process, throughout the process, as it gets hard, until you absolutely succeed? They're going to be like, listen, why are you doing this? Why are you leaving this job? Why are you leaving the benefits? Why are you leaving the safety net that you know? Because that is all they know. And so, even as we speak about your support network being a source of confidence this morning, the one thing we need to recognize is, you've got to set boundaries on who speaks into your life. I always say to people, before you get a criticism, look at where it's coming from. Look at where it's coming from. How can you advise me on matters of entrepreneurship if you have never been an entrepreneur? Okay. So it means, if you want to increase the support network and make it more relevant in your life, especially if you want to do something that no one you know has done before, go find mentors. Go find people who have done it. Attach yourself to them. Buy their programs, coach with them, so that you have someone who can better assess your abilities, your chances of succeeding, give you strategies to succeed, and judge your ability properly, as opposed to somebody who might love you but doesn't have any foundation or any raw material in the area that you want to be confident in and you want to succeed in. Does that make any sense? Okay, so here's something. I'm going back to the original point about supportive relationships can build our confidence. Here's a statistic to support that. And it comes from the Canadian Mental Health Association. A study revealed that 72% of Canadians who reported high confidence levels also cited having a strong support system as a contributing factor. I think the action point right there is to kind of prune and curate your support network. Curate your network. You do not want to be around negativity. You want to shut it off as much as possible. You want to shut off the people who just call you on the fly and they just let it rip about disappointment and about why things are not working well for you, for them, for the world. Shut it down, because you don't think that you are imbibing it and you are slowly becoming like what they're saying, but you are, because where your focus goes, your energy will flow. If that is all you're hearing in your head, you will have to fight twice as much and twice as hard for you to counter the ticker tape, because that is what is in your environment. So, as much as possible, curate your support network, curate the people who are around you. I think we need to have categories of friends and relationships. Don't you think so? Or do you do that to know who's in the inner circle, who can you speak with all day, whole day, who you are definitely not going to let into your life because they are too negative or whatever. Like, you have to be able to do that so you can move forward, because I think like the biggest instrument or tool of success that we have is our minds. And part of guarding your mind, guarding your heart, that kind of thing, is to know who's around you and to really take charge of who you let in and who you keep at a distance, all the while being gracious, being kind, loving people. But there's something about there's a level at which you can give and not want to receive what they have to offer because it doesn't serve you, but you have to continue giving. And so we're saying this morning, where are we? 20 minutes. Oh my goodness, you guys. What did the time go? Okay. There's confidence that comes from competence. We spoke about that. And you can, if you, I have coached some people and I had to stop and ask the question: is the level of fear that you are experiencing coming from a lack of confidence? Because sometimes it is. Sometimes the way to get over the fear and the lack of confidence is to go and get more competent. Now, while I'm saying yes, you can speak to a 2 and a 1 and a 0. If you are at a 3, you don't want to stay there forever. You're going to meet that client or that person who wants your services. And when they speak to you, you see the gaps within yourself. And so the way that you get working, YouTube University is free. You begin there. You begin with the podcast. You begin with the free books on Kindle or wherever that will help you to increase your competence in the thing that you want to do. Some people just need to go back and learn so that you can feel confident about your competence, right? If you are trying to be confident, knowing that you are incompetent, it is going to show. And you have every reason to not have confidence. So go out and get the competence so that you can literally have a very strong foundation upon which to build your confidence. We said, secondly, the other source of answering the question. Hey, Avril, good morning to you, my friend. Avril's right here in Edmonton, in our snowy little city, right? The other source of confidence is having a supportive network. And of course, some people are not blessed with that. If you are around negative people, a negative spouse, a negative friends, it is going to be very difficult for you to access the positivity that you need to be confident, isn't it? Right? Oh, Avril, by the way, last night I met Irene. I just had to tell you. She was at a networking event, so we met. I just needed to tell you that. And look at me having private conversations on the people's live stream. Hi, Ambis Delectables, how are you doing? So here's the thing: if you don't have that supportive network, you have to work very hard. I always say, and I want to repeat it here, I always say, look at where the criticism is coming from. If somebody who's not achieving anything, right, is trying to say to you, you are nothing, you know exactly why they're saying it. It has nothing to do with you, it has everything to do with them and their lack of self confidence and their lack and disappointment in themselves. They're trying to pass it on. Discard. You have to discount from where people are coming from when you get criticisms. In the same way, we have to also discount for the people who are just on our side. And no matter what you do, yes, 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 the cheerleaders in your life, you need them. But I think we need to be fair. If somebody is just in your corner because you're family or because they just like you, and that person is not giving you a very objective and critical assessment, then you want to have those kinds of people, mentors in particular, who can give you that true and objective assessment of your skills, of where you are, good and bad, so that with that information, that is how you get better. So you want to discount for the cheerleaders that are just, yes, go ahead, you the greatest, you the best. You know how everybody loves you on social media? Right? Okay, yes, Avril, thank you for that. And you also want to discount for people who have agendas, sometimes their own, when they speak to you about yourself or assess your abilities or try to discourage you. You have to discount for both of them. But honestly, the point is that as much as possible, have people around you who are going to encourage you. Have people around you who are going to challenge you to go bigger, better, faster, stronger. Have people around you who are not just going to wipe your tears. What they'll do is they'll be like, yes, I hear you. Yes, I'll wipe your tears. Okay. All right. Okay. You finished crying? Are you finished crying? Okay. Are you done? Are you done? All right. Now you know your ability. Last year you did this. That means this year, even though this is hard, you can do it. Okay. Wipe those tears, tie waist, throw your shoulders back. Let's get back out there. You want that around you. You want people who will not accept your sub stories and will be like, I know you, Lisa. I know you can do better. Dig deep. Tell me what you need, how I can support you, but you're doing this. Okay. Now, the last point that I want to end on is about, you know what? Let's continue that conversation tomorrow about other points for where confidence comes from. Because you know the question that I've been asking myself, I want to leave it with you. What if I've been disappointed in an area? Let's say relationship. That's a good one. A lot of people have been disappointed in relationships. A lot of people have been disappointed in business. A lot of people have been disappointed in education. They cannot pass certain courses. And that takes a toll on your confidence, doesn't it? So then, Lisa, in that case, where does confidence come from? I have an answer for that. Oh my goodness, I have an answer for that. We are going to continue that topic tomorrow. So join me same time. And if you're just catching the tail end of this, I'm going to just repost it on Instagram right away. But on YouTube, on Facebook, and I think on LinkedIn, it will go out at 4 p.m. MST, which is 6 p.m. EST today. I do the replays like every day now. Just I'm not even sure why I never did that. Oh my goodness, you guys. So we're gonna talk about that tomorrow. What if I don't have competence? What if I've been disappointed and my confidence has just been raised to the ground? I have been there. Oh my goodness, I've been there where relationships are concerned, where business is concerned. I know that feeling of just thinking that you're incompetent, you failed, you're a failure. You look at you, what happened? Like, you cannot do this. You prove that you cannot. You prove that you're not attractive. You prove that you're not good with relationships, or even with not just romantic relationships, friendships. I had to battle that one and to literally talk myself into being a great friend, because everything that I had experienced that thus far, it said that I wasn't. That everything was like, oh my gosh. But anyway, we'll talk about that tomorrow. I hope you join me then. You guys, a couple things. All right, now this is what I'm planning for January. I had this LinkedIn Live, and it went really well. I had this LinkedIn Live in last week Friday, and it was very well attended. Kind of, I think. I'm planning, I will be doing this in person here in Edmonton, like my first gathering of people in Edmonton. Can you believe it? I feel like I'm now coming out of COVID. Like, COVID's gone. The pandemic, it's kind of, it's not a pandemic anymore. So go out there, meet the people, which is what I've been doing. And I'm going to be running this program in January and continuing. This is my project for 2025, God willing, where I'll be going around in person and online, teaching people how to share their business with clarity and confidence. Because I've seen that need in the market, that many people do have great products and services, but when it comes to communicating that value, there's a dearth of competence there. So I'm going to be teaching that. I'll tell you more about it. I went to a graduation and a pitch contest on Saturday, and I saw exactly, I was like, if I had only worked with some of these people before they went up there, I would have told you how to dress properly. I would have told you how to breathe properly so that you would approach this 3 or 4 minute pitch that you had to do with that kind of calm and unshakable confidence. And the winner, I think, deserved to win, because when she started speaking, something in me, I stood at attention watching her. I was like, wow, look at this woman. Like she was articulate, she was joyful, she was sharing from a place of deep belief. And so I was like, I want to teach more people to be able to do that. And again, that competence, it comes from so many things, from being prepared, from believing in your product, and from reframing what you're doing to look at it as, I don't want to just grab your money. No, I want to give you value. I want to answer a pain point that you have that I can help you with. Why would I not tell you about it? You know what I mean? So we'll talk more about those things tomorrow. We are right at 30 minutes. Thank you for joining me. Please send me a DM if this is working. If you're enjoying the mornings with me, let me know. That is always very encouraging. And I'll see you tomorrow as we continue to speak about the topic, where does confidence come from? Bye, everybody. Have a good one. Take care.